All right, well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. It is a beautiful June 18th, 2024. Today is Tuesday. We get together most weekday mornings at this time to talk about strategies, tips, share techniques, and success stories. Today, we're going to talk about QuickCash and make sure that we understand what it is, what it isn't, and then a promotion that they're actually running from today, June 18th, on through the end of the month. So QuickCash, which is housed on guaranteedfunding.org, QuickCash right here. So QuickCash is a transference of assets to the client. So it's real, it's ethical, it's legal, it's documented, and so forth. So what we're doing is we're transferring assets over in $10,000 portfolios. So let's go ahead and put that on our screen here. The screen should be shared. So QuickCash is a near immediate transfer of $10,000 portfolios to the client. Now you might say, well, why would a client want QuickCash? So let's address the why. So first of all, it creates assets on the balance sheet. So on occasion, what you'll see is a client wants funding, but they don't qualify. And of course, that's our overall model, is to help people qualify for funding, to help create fundable businesses. You and I know that there are the 3 C's, right? Credit, collateral, and capacity. Collateral means what do we have to pledge for the loan? And so if the client has a light or inadequate balance sheet, what we call a collateral shortfall, then we can transfer assets over. So that's probably the number one reason why people will use the QuickCash. Now, are there other reasons? Absolutely. The assets can be liquidated into cash. So QuickCash is a transference of accounts receivables that are real receivables. We just did a deal this morning with Hugh. He's not on. I thought he would be on this morning. So Hugh bought 2 portfolios this morning, essentially. So we transferred to him already this morning $20,000, 2 different portfolios. And so now Hugh, along with the bill of sale. So Hugh is now the legal owner of those 2 portfolios. So we'll be helping him today or soon post those onto his balance sheet. And then if he would like us to do, we can liquidate into cash. So the assets, just to be clear, are accounts receivables. And we've had this example or analogy before, but let's go through it. So let's say that you and I decide we want to start a business together, and we say, well, let's do lawn care. It's June and people's grass is growing and it's hot. They don't want to go mow it. You and I will go mow it for them. So you and I start a lawn care company. And we find a homeowner, and the homeowner says, yep. And we say, okay, it's $20 a week. And the homeowner says, fine. So you and I unload and we go out and we mow the grass. And then we put an invoice in their mailbox or on their front door, and they owe us $20. So that's accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is a very common term in business, which means money owed to our business. So in that example, you and I are owed $20 from the client. The client is technically the debtor. They owe the money. We are the creditors. I'm sorry. The debtor, the homeowner, owes the money. We are owed the money. We're going to receive money for cutting their yard. Pretty simple, right? So accounts receivable is very common in most businesses. There are a few businesses that operate cash only, like drug deals, but most businesses have accounts receivable. So that means then we need to receive the accounts receivable. So let's say that homeowner doesn't send us a check or pay us by Venmo or PayPal or whatever. So then we might have to follow up and say, hey, homeowner, we cut your yard on Monday. You didn't pay. Could you pay us? Right? Because you owe it. So that's accounts receivable in a very simplistic business scenario. Now, did you know though? So now let's say that let's say it's Jeff and I. Jeff's on the phone or on the Zoom. Jeff and I say, fuck that. We're not going to go mow those yards. That is hot. That's demanding. Jeff and I say, we're not going to cut the yards. But what we'll do is we'll go buy the receivables from other lawn care companies and we'll collect the money. So we'll let someone else go out and do the work, create the invoice. Jeff and I are going to skip all that. We're just going to buy the receivables and then collect the money. So that is a close analogy to what's happening here. These receivables are real, they're owed, but what's happening is we're selling the receivables to the client in portfolios of $10,000. So hopefully the light bulb just went off. It's like, okay, I'm buying receivables. And we call that quick cash. So then in terms of liquidation, number 3, the AR can also be factored. Factoring can mean different things, but in general, factoring means that there's some third-party business that will advance you money on your invoices. So one of the factoring companies that we really like, that we work well with, they will factor 97 cents on the dollar. So let's put that on here, 97%. So again, let's go back to the example. You and I started a lawn care company and we went and cut a yard. They owe us $20. We don't want to wait. So what could we do? And even before the homeowner pays us, we could factor that invoice, but the factoring company wouldn't give us $20, would they? They would give us 97% of that. So let's figure out exactly what that is. I should be able to do that math in my head, but I won't try. So if we take $20 times 0.97, so then the factoring company would send us $19.40. So they're advancing us the money even before the client has paid. Well, this is also one of the possible strategies for clients that buy QuickCash, like Hugh. Now Hugh's on. Hugh wasn't on earlier. Hugh, we're talking about you since you bought 20,000 of assets this morning. So Hugh bought 2 of these portfolios for 20,000 this morning. So now what we'll do is we'll help Hugh do a couple things. We'll help him factor if he wishes. So out of $20,000 that he just bought, 20,000, 97% of that is 19,400 is what we would expect Hugh to get through the factoring. And then also we can help Hugh if he wants us to collect, because we've got to collect that money. Going back to that example, the homeowner owes us the $20 for cutting the grass, right? There's no dispute. There's no confusion. The homeowner owes you and I for cutting their grass. They've not paid yet. And so what can happen in business is that you can buy receivables, and then those receivables can be bought usually at a discount. So Hugh didn't pay $20,000 for his 20,000 of AR. In fact, he only paid a small title transfer fee. So let's go ahead and talk about the pricing model. Pricing model of QuickCash. So there is a title transfer fee. So let's use another analogy. Let's say you have a car and I'm a little down on my luck, and you say, hey, Tom, I'll give you the car. It's a 1978 Nova. Here's the keys. You can own it. Does that make it my car? No. You're going to have to transfer the title of the car, or really I'm driving your car, which is still a nice gesture. But for it to be my car, the ownership has to be officially transferred. So for an automobile, you're transferring the title. For real estate, could I just give you a plot of land here? It's just yours. Fine, just verbal. No, no. The deed has to be changed from my name to your name. So with more significant assets, you can't just verbally have a transfer because it's too, it's actually called the statute of frauds, quite frankly, but avoid from the legal term. Some things need to be documented to make it easy to understand. So there is a title transfer fee for us to transfer the QuickCash to the client. How much is the title transfer fee? It's $499 per portfolio. So it's like, oh, wow. So I can buy $10,000 of receivables for $499? No, no, that's not accurate. Instead, there's a second element, because that'd be too good to be true, right? Instead, there is a 75-25 split. So the buyer, in this case, Hugh, gets 75% of the AR, and we get 25%. But our 25% is deferred, it's delayed. It's not paid now because the money hasn't been turned into cash yet, right? So if you and I went and bought that invoice from that lawn care company for $20, do we instantly have $20 from the homeowner? No, no, we're going to have to collect it from the homeowner. So we wouldn't ask the client to pay 25% up front because the money's not been collected yet. That's not a fair deal for them. So instead, they just pay a transfer fee, just like you would pay if you went to a title company to transfer deed of a property, and then the rest is deferred. So who has questions on how QuickCash works? It's great, it's real, it's legal, but sometimes people misunderstand it. So we thought today, let's come back and revisit it. And then also, they are running a promotion. So what is the promotion? So the promotion runs from June 18th, today, to June 30th, the end of the month, because there's only 30 days in June, unless I'm mistaken. And it's a buy 2 portfolios, get 1 free. So in other words, pay for 2, get 3. It's a little bit wider, so it's all in one line. So QuickCash, what it is, how it works, questions. So let's get into questions, comments, concerns, because the buying and selling of debt instruments is a multi-billion dollar industry. There are publicly traded companies that do this on the largest scale that you can imagine. What we've done is worked with a group of attorneys to build this on a little small micro level basis so it works for Main Street, not just for Wall Street. So I'm not saying that QuickCash is what you need or what you should do. I'm not saying you shouldn't need to go sell it to your clients. I want you to understand how it works. And so there's also a flyer here we can click on and it'll populate up. And it does a good job of describing it. But let's go back to, well, I guess we'll leave it on this for now. So who has questions, comments, concerns? Who needs help understanding what QuickCash is, what QuickCash does? All right, so Doug's asking a bit about the underlying assets. So assets that can be bought and sold are often under one of a few different categories. They could be mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, or professional contracts. I guess those are the 4 main categories. So when someone is enrolling in QuickCash and getting a portfolio, it's real money owed for some underlying contract. And the term there is called media, MEDIA. Media is the official documentation that clarifies. So let's go ahead and add a couple terms to our glossary. So we have the debtor, he who owes the money. The creditor, he or she, of course, we're using he, gender neutral. He who is owed the money. We had media, that is the underlying contract in which the debt is validated. Make this wider so the lines are even. And then what was the other one that we had? Well, liquidation, turning AR into cash. What are other terms that we missed that we've talked about? The debtor, the creditor, the media, the liquidation. I feel like there's one we're missing there. Okay, but who else has questions? We can type those questions, comments, concerns into the Q&A. So QuickCash is real. I guess we'll go back to the page here so we can see it. It's real, it's valuable. It creates immediate value for the buyer, for the client. So creditor and buyer means the same. So the buyer is getting the assets, just like Hugh today. Hugh received the assets this morning. That I remember now. What I wanted to cover is bill of sale. Bill of sale. So this is the document illustrating change of ownership. So this morning, Hugh received two $10,000 portfolios. He has those now. And I think there's another one we need to work on today. And then in addition, he also received the bill of sale. The bill of sale shows the transference. And someone's asking to see the bill of sale. So let's see if I can find the bill of sale before I show it to everyone. Yeah. Let's. Okay, so hopefully it's showing it. Is this bill of sale showing when I put something new on the screen? I'm not sure if it's showing. Can anyone type yes if you now see a bill of sale? Yes or no, please, in the chat box, the Q&A. Okay, great. So this is the bill of sale. This is the real bill of sale that just went to Hugh this morning. So Hugh bought two portfolios. He paid $9.99 for those two portfolios. That matches what I said. The deferred payment, remember there was the 25-75 split. Let's pull it up to make sure you can hold me accountable here. So we said there's a 25-75 split. That's deferred. So that's the consideration. What did Hugh buy? He bought two defaulted contracts. He bought a defaulted commercial address from Ernest, and Ernest is actually on the training this morning. So Ernest, your defaulted contract has been sold to Hugh. Hugh will be reaching out to you to collect from you, Ernest. So that's a coincidence. We have both the debtor and the creditor on the Zoom this morning. So the debtor is Ernest, real person, great guy, love him. He's literally on the training right now. And then we also have the creditor, the person that's owed the money, and that's Hugh. And he's on the training right now. So it's like a big happy family. So there were two defaulted contracts worth at least $10,000 apiece that were just transferred legally to Hugh Clark, as all the legal language signed by us, and then Hugh will sign it. So with that being said, we can close that down and go back. Who has questions on QuickCash? It's great for people that need money that don't qualify for loans yet. It's not the only reason, but it was designed to provide a source of capital for those that can't afford to yet get a loan. And we talk about that actually on the flyer. We talk about who's it for, people that don't qualify yet. And then also some people just don't want to borrow money, right? They don't want debt. They don't want interest. So if we go back to this and we go back to this, so Hugh now has increased his net worth by $20,000, which is awesome. What's his interest rate on that 20,000? Zero, because it's not a debt. It's an asset that he bought. All right, well, we're covering a lot of terminology here, but anything that we missed, anything with our pricing model should be crystal clear. The promotion that we're running from today through the end of the month, it's a 2-for-1. We went through the glossary, so we're all clear on some of the key terms. If anyone's interested in QuickCash, you go to guaranteedfunding.org. And so instead of staying here on the home page, you click on QuickCash. And there it is. And here's the click to enroll. And it pops up slowly, slowly. And then this is the same flyer I showed you, so it matches. And then it allows them to actually get enrolled. So we worked with a law firm out of Austin, Texas to set all this up. What triggered it is they wanted to buy 3 million of assets from us, which they did and they paid for. And then we realized, well, this is very valuable for the typical small business owner who is either needing assets on their balance sheet and or wanting funds, wanting capital, wanting assets, but they either don't qualify for funding yet and or they don't want to pay it back. So anything that we missed this morning as we covered QuickCash, maybe this is useful for you, maybe it's of interest, maybe it's not, but it's a real, legal, effective financial tool that we conduct on a frequent, daily, or multiple times a day basis. And so if you need an injection of funding, the QuickCash might be of help to you. If you wanted to facilitate this for any of your clients, we have some ways that you can monetize that as well. So any questions? So yeah, Ernest, expect that Hugh will be reaching out to you. So that debt that you had owed us, Ernest, is no longer owed to us. We've transferred that ownership from us to Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark will be getting with you to work out payment arrangements. Any other questions, comments, concerns on QuickCash? QuickCash. All right. Well, we'll see you back tomorrow morning. Let's have a productive day. Let us know what we can do to help you. Thanks. Bye-bye.